Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Please let me know right off the bat if you guys can see me okay, if you can hear me okay. I see some prior messages before the stream started from Alex and Reportify Media. Thanks for coming out. We got Neptune, Ralph Mole, Mahbub. Anybody else in the chat, because I don't see anything coming in that is new, so please let me know. I hope we don't have any problems. Singapore is supposed to have really good internet, so please let me know if you guys can see me, because I don't see anything yet. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got Nick. We got Mahbub. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Hopefully we'll have more people joining as the live stream goes on. I know this is a little bit later than I usually do, but I've had a bit of a crazy filming schedule, so I had to start a little bit later this morning. And for anybody wondering, it is Sunday morning here in Singapore, and we're starting in the downtown core of the city, where it almost feels like it's an apocalypse or something. There's like nobody here because it's only Monday through Friday usually that this part of the city is busy. So I'll show you guys that in just a minute. Now I see a bunch more messages flooding in, so fantastic. Ralph, thank you for coming out. David, Miguel, Carolyn, hi Alina, all good. Excited to see Singapore through your eyes. Thank you so much. Lee from Sanur, Bali, fantastic. One of my latest video topics, Sanur. Jim Ross, thank you so much for coming out, and a big thank you for the PayPal before the stream got started. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. We got Miguel from Guatemala, very interesting. And then a Miguel, we got two Miguels. We got a Miguel from Mexico. We got somebody from Saskatoon, amazing. Oh, we got my mom here. Thank you so much for coming out. Спасибо большое. Oh, we have my lovely new friend Jessie here on the stream as well. Thank you so much for coming out, lovely. Hello, Alina, Jessie here. Excited to view Singapore from your perspective. Hope to accompany you on this trip. Thank you so much, lovely. Jessie and her friend Edwin actually showed me around yesterday some more local parts of Singapore, which was super, super interesting. So I hope you guys will like that video coming out soon. We got Alex from Sao Paulo. Oh, and we got Sarah from Saskatoon. Amazing. I got some people here that I know in real life. Amazing. Ice Boss from New Zealand. Fantastic. All right, guys, let's get this day started. I was going to start off like right beside the river, but then as I was walking through here, I was like, well, this is actually an interesting experience that maybe some people wouldn't really anticipate when they come to Singapore. Is if, yeah, you come here on the weekends, there is like next to nobody downtown, and most of the businesses too downtown aren't actually open, which I found surprising. But it's this building actually that I really, really, really wanted to show you guys. It's probably my favorite just because of the different design features and all the different greenery that they have. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, we got a super chat from Emerson. Thank you so much for the very nice super chat. Hope you are doing well. So yeah, Starbucks is closed here. There's a couple people biking or like just popping into the work buildings, but overall like things are quiet on this front. We are going to head towards the water where definitely there will be more people because it is one of the most touristy parts of the city, and you can't really, you know, talk about coming to Singapore if you don't go near Marina Bay area. It is pretty majestic. So we're going to start our walk there, but I'm also going to take you guys to a part of the city that I didn't get to the last time I was here, which is Orchard Row. So that's where we're probably going to end up as long as I can find my way there. I've only done this walk once, and overall it's fairly straightforward, but there's a couple turns that, you know, I'm not super familiar with, so let's hope for the best. Let me know actually if any of you have been to Singapore before and what your sort of impressions were, because well, there we go. Because I'll be honest, like, this is one of my favorite cities in the world. I really like how they run things here. I like how clean and safe and just multicultural this country is, because if you didn't know, like, it was originally a part of Malaysia, so the national language, as I learned yesterday, is still Malay, but then they also have Chinese, Tamil, and of course English is kind of the universal language that connects everybody, because everybody speaks English here in Singapore. So as a foreigner, it is like super easy to get around. Everything is in English, I mean, as long as you're an English speaker. And it's just such an easy city, which is so nice sometimes. I know some people are like, oh, I want to be challenged by travel, I want to do something like completely wild, and I mean, I like that sometimes too, but other times it's just nice to be in a place where, like, everything's taken care of, like everything works on schedule, everything is nice, everything is convenient, and you just see how things should be properly run in many countries but aren't. Now, I'm not saying that, like, Singapore doesn't have its issues and it doesn't have its downfalls, but I'm just saying compared to most places, it's doing pretty damn good. So let me know your guys' thoughts about Singapore in the comments. GeoScholar has a friend from college from Finland that moved to Singapore. Oh, Emerson, you got your Bali card. Fantastic. I'm very happy to hear that. Lucky Luke says, I love to take a walk in the afternoon in Singapore. The street is so clean and the people are so nice. That it is. Because, you know, in Southeast Asia, I've said this many times, it is very difficult to find walkable places. Like, that's just a fact. The closest that I found is Bangkok, which is why it's my other favorite city in Southeast Asia, because Bangkok overall is walkable. Of course, there's some parts of the city that aren't as much, but compared to most places in Southeast Asia, it's kind of the best you can get other than Singapore. Most other places, like, some of them don't even have sidewalks, or they make it extremely difficult to, like, cross streets. Like, not to hate on Jakarta, but I was absolutely floored how in Jakarta I would literally have to take 3 times as long to walk a distance because they didn't have crosswalks and nobody else was walking like that. It was just a me thing. Everybody takes, like, scooters and, you know, Grab and all that kind of stuff. So it's a bit surprising in Southeast Asia just how not walkable a lot of places are, or you constantly have to, like, watch for traffic behind you as you do in Vietnam. Like, they will take you out if you're not watching. So it's so nice to be in Singapore, where it's very, very, very pedestrian friendly. Keys are where the action usually is. To coin a phrase, Singaporeans are serious as a heart attack. I don't understand, Jim. What do you mean by that? Am I not getting Nick says we are going to Singapore in 3 weeks. We're from the US. Awesome. You guys will have a great time. The Geo Scholar says the downside of Singapore, you're not allowed to have chewing gum. No, there is no chewing gum in Singapore. Yeah, it's a pretty weird rule, but I mean, considering I don't really chew gum that often, like, doesn't really affect me. But, you know, other quick things you guys should know before coming to Singapore that maybe you wouldn't know is you are not allowed to vape, and that's not just here. There's some other countries where vaping is a very serious offense. In Southeast Asia, I think Laos for sure, but is it Thailand too? In Thailand too you can't vape now or something like that. You can smoke, but you can't vape. And I think there's another one. So here in Singapore, absolutely illegal to vape, and there's only very particular places that you can smoke. You can get fines for that. Like in general in Singapore, you know, it's a very strict society, which personally I like. You know, it's for the welfare of the collective, and I don't think the rules are that crazy personally. But you do have to be careful with some things. Like, be very careful if you're bringing in any kind of, you know, prescription medication, because like a lot of drugs here are completely illegal and you can get in really big trouble. So if it's a prescription medication, make sure you have your prescription, it's in its original bottle. Do not try and like sneak anything nefarious in. Like, this would be literally one of the worst countries to try and do that. And when you are here, just behave yourself. Like, don't be doing stupid stuff, because there are actually super, you know, serious consequences here for that sort of thing. So that's kind of how Singapore differentiates itself from a lot of countries, because honestly, even like in Canada too, it makes me very sad how a lot of crimes, like, it's literally just a slap on the wrist. Like, they really don't actually impose very strict laws that are for the collective good. They kind of just like look the other way or give very like small penalties, and those people will just keep doing it over and over again, and then you get the downfall of society. But as you can see here in very clean, nice, safe Singapore, where I could easily walk by myself at like 2 in the morning and 99% nothing's going to happen. Yeah, they don't have those problems, you know, like they don't have a drug problem. They don't have zombies walking around on the streets, and in a way they don't even have like a homeless issue, even though housing and everything is very expensive. But that's a whole story. I could stand here for a long time and go over that, but maybe we'll chat about it as we go along. Want to say a big thank you to Costas World of Music Memories, as always, for coming out, guys. It's 3:10 a.m. here. Oh my gosh. In Guimarães, Portugal. We thought we'd drop in briefly before we go back to sleep. How warm is it there, and what time is it? We will catch the live stream replay. All the best, Harriet and Jim. Oh my gosh, you guys, that is so sweet of you to wake up at that crazy hour. Thank you so much. That is so sweet of you. I really appreciate your support. Thank you, guys. To answer your question, how warm is it? It's morning time right now at about 9 a.m. and I don't know for sure, but I'd say it's probably 27-ish. Gonna climb up to the 30s later this afternoon. It does get very, very hot here, as all of Southeast Asia is. So yeah, try and always go out in the mornings and just the evenings. But thank you guys so much, as always. Really, really appreciate your support. Oh yeah, Jim Ross, you were saying when it's a rule in Singapore, they mean it, follow the rules. They aren't just saying things for effect. Exactly. Yeah, no, it's you don't want to try and call their bluff, because you will end up in trouble. Okay, guys, I'm gonna keep reading your comments as we walk to the water. There's lots of different street art as well in this part of town. No, Todd, you're not allowed to rob stores without consequences here. No, they don't believe in that kind of madness that we have going on in North America. I don't know exactly what the rule is in Canada, actually, if you just get a misdemeanor or what. But I know in some states in the US, they like, if it's under $1,000, like nothing happens. Like nothing happens. I think it's in like New York and also California. Like they literally will do nothing with people that like shoplift for under $1,000, which is absolute madness. Absolute madness. There's been a lot of changes actually, even in the how's it been, about a year since I was last in Singapore. They have done a lot of really nice construction since I was last here. Right in front of us is the subway, Raffles Place, one of many stations that they have here in Singapore. Like, unless you have really heavy luggage that you absolutely can't take on the metro, I would say there's really no reason that you would need to take a taxi in Singapore, because it is just so convenient and a lot of times faster to take the metro that, you know, there's really no point. There's really no reason to do that. But if you do, actually, fun fact, if you do take, you know, a car or something, or if you rented a car, that would really be strange, but this would be one of the few cities in the world where there would not be any traffic. Well, I mean, there's some traffic, but it's not at all like gridlock anywhere, because Singapore has also decided that if you want to have a car, you will pay like, I don't know if it's 10x or 20x or something, but it is substantially more expensive to buy a car here. Not only to just buy the car, a friend was telling me yesterday that lives here that a Toyota Corolla, you know, like a mid-range car, will cost $200,000. $200,000 here in Singapore. And on top of that, you have to be approved. It's not even guaranteed, but you have to like file for some kind of lottery. It's like the car lottery to actually get the papers, the license to be able to drive here. And that itself, I can't remember how much it is off the top of my head. Maybe somebody can write in the comments, but it was like enough too. So like just to have the privilege of driving a car here, it's so insanely expensive. And like I said, it really makes no sense. It really is just like you know, a status sort of thing. And of course, you know, some Singaporeans obviously would love to drive and, you know, just want that experience, but unfortunately they have made it so insanely expensive that it's like, you know, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I found that very interesting. There's a Singaporean saying that a Toyota Corolla doesn't cost that much. Well, another Singaporean literally told me it did, so I don't know. I'm not a Singaporean, but that's what I was told yesterday. But either way, it's substantially more expensive than it would be in Canada. Like in Canada, it'd be what, like $40,000-$50,000? Like we're talking a brand new one, not a used one or something like that. Oh, Jesse, thank you so much. A small car will cost about $80,000 for a tax certificate of entitlement. Oh my God, that's insane. Yeah, so I mean, okay, maybe he meant, I guess, with the two things together, to buy the car and with the tax certificate of entitlement, it would cost $200,000. Maybe I misunderstood. But either way, like, come on, guys, like that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. King Lear says Google tells me Corolla costs between $150,000 and $199,000. See, okay, it's a lot. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna flip my camera here. I'm reading your comments here, guys. Daniel says, loved Singapore. We were there last April. It was ungodly hot and humid. The food court under Marina Bay Sands is air conditioned and only a couple of dollars more than the hawker centers. Yes, I agree. The Marina Bay Sands food court is actually pretty good. All right, fantastic. Let's head on down to the river. Let's see, they are still like building a lot, like downtown. There is a lot of condos and stuff that I think are going up. Another fun fact about Singapore is that about 80% of the actual population, like actual Singaporeans, from my understanding, live in public housing, you know? It's basically the opposite of the system that we have in North America, where it's mainly like private companies that are developers and who you would purchase property from. But here instead, like the government literally builds all the public housing. And from what I saw, like it was actually quite, you know, nice. Of course, it is still relatively expensive compared to the average salary that, you know, the people make here. So I'm not at all saying that it's not expensive, but just a totally different system where they're not having a housing crisis and the government does actually build, you know, the housing that it needs to take care of its citizens. Let's go this way. I think I actually already I went down a different street than I originally planned, because in this part of downtown things kind of go round and round. Here we are though. Shunk says, is it true in Singapore when you litter you get sentenced to death? No, you don't get sentenced to death for that. If they obviously caught you and saw you, then I think you would get a fine, and you would probably also have to do community service, which I think is actually great, right? Because, you know, there's some very rich people here that could probably even pay if it was $5,000 or $10,000, but it's good to actually make them work it off as well, you know, pay for your mistakes. Here we are by the river. I think this is just such a lovely area. There's a couple of street food stalls. There's some lovely artwork actually down there. And in the evening, this area gets really bustling. All those kind of tent setup things that you see, those are all kind of like little bars and restaurants and stuff. Those get really very busy in the evenings. Over here is the Asian Civilizations Museum, if I'm not mistaken. I actually haven't been to that yet. This is the Kavanaugh Bridge. And then over here is the famous Fullerton Hotel, a really famous luxury hotel that they have here that's kind of on the opposite side of Marina Bay Sands. Just give me a minute here, guys. I'm gonna put on my sunglasses because it's pretty hot and bright out. There we are. Lots of bikers. I was actually walking on this bridge the first day that I got here. I don't know, I was standing in the middle taking a picture, and then all of a sudden there's a rumble, and straight at me is coming like a group of, I don't know, 50 people on rollerblades, like literally just like coming at me, and I was like, what the hell, like where are these people coming from? So they have all these like rollerblading groups, biking groups, you know, running groups. Like Singapore is actually a very active, very fit kind of city. I mean, especially in the downtown core. I don't know, you know, as much if it's in the more local residential areas, but oh, if you come here in the mornings, like everybody's jogging, everybody's fit, everybody's getting like super healthy food. So yeah, personally, I love that kind of vibe. And yeah, you just see that all over here. Oh, thank you so much to Alex Oliveira. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for showing us beautiful Singapore. My pleasure, my absolute pleasure. Fantastic. Oh, Jesse says the Fullerton Hotel used to be a general post office of Singapore. That big? That is a huge building for a post office. Oh my God. That's very impressive. I'll show you guys more of it in just a second here. I'm just reading your comments. Francisco asks who wins in the most luxurious city, Monaco or Singapore? I mean, to me, it's not even a contest. Like, Monaco's tiny. Like, sure, they have their famous, like, hotels and the casino or whatever, and there's a nice park, but I mean, that's kind of it. Like, you can see Monaco in an afternoon. There's not really that much to see and do there, at least from my experience. Singapore is way, way better. Way more to see and do here. Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like there's somebody in the chat from Monaco. Sorry, Patrick. I mean, Monaco's nice, but not my cup of tea. How much is it for a taxi ride for 5 kilometers or 15-minute ride? I mean, I took taxis only the last time I was here, so I don't know if it's increased. But for example, I took a taxi from the airport the last time I was here because I didn't like properly research about the MRT. I thought that it was gonna take much longer than it actually did. So I'm like, whatever, I'll take a taxi. So I think it was a 15-20 minute taxi ride, and it cost me about 20 to 25 Singaporean dollars, which would be like 15 US. And while, sure, that's more expensive than the rest of Southeast Asia by quite a bit, but it's less expensive than Canada. Like in Canada, it would be more than that for a, Uber from downtown to the airport. Of course, it would take longer, but still, I'm saying per distance, it's actually not that expensive, which is nice. All right, so we need to get over on this part. We got bikers. Singapore is also definitely, as I believe they call themselves, the city of gardens. Like there's some areas in the city that are just like being out in the middle of nature. Like you wouldn't even know that you are, in the city. There's an area that I went to just a few days ago, recommended by one of my subscribers. Thank you so much. McRitchie Reservoir. And I did the treetop walk as well as the whole park. It took me, the lights changed, damn it. And this light doesn't change off in 1 sec, guys. I'm gonna flip the camera. Damn it. Okay, oh, damn it. Okay. Can we make it? Yes, we can. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Or what is it? Can we build it? Yes, we can. That's what it is. Okay. This light takes like 3 minutes to change, and I don't want to stand in like the hot sun for that length of time. What was I talking about? Okay, so yeah, I was in the reservoir. It took me 5 hours to hike it. Would not recommend midday. Bring lots of water, but the nature was incredible is what I'm trying to get at. Like, I would never have anticipated that I could be in basically the rainforest and also be in the central part of Singapore. So it's nice that they haven't just like overdeveloped things, that it's huge skyscrapers everywhere and nothing else. So another pro for Singapore. Emerson, thank you for the super chat. The people are feeling free and safe because the security is very good. Yes, exactly. That is a very, very important point. All right. Gonna flip the camera here, guys. SK says that he lived half his life in Singapore, now a retiree in Canada. Amazing. And yes, Ron, you are correct. Singapore is also a tech innovation hub, much like Silicon Valley, crypto capital of Asia. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see from here their downtown skyline, where there is some very impressive, very wealthy companies. Obviously, there is a lot of money that goes through Singapore. That's how they're able to have this kind of city. So yeah, a lot of innovation in this city, which is super cool. I don't think I missed a super chat, did I? I just read Emerson's. Oh, I did. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for reminding me if I missed a super chat. I really appreciate it, because see, that one didn't even like show up in my notifications. The Geo Scholar, thank you so much. Your tour of Singapore made me think of London. I went to London in 2021, and seeing Singapore reminds me of London, particularly around the Thames. Yeah, for sure. There's definitely some similarities with London and Singapore, though I was in London a very long time ago, but also super cool city. Thank you guys for that. All right, are you ready for the magical view, for the money view? I'm not gonna show you just yet. We'll stay on this side until we get to the full view. Nice Japanese izakaya. All right, now we can start to pan. Dun 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 dun. Look how beautiful. Look how unique. Very beautiful building. But you know where else there's a building almost exactly like this? Actually, can anybody, I won't say it yet, does anybody else know where in the world is there a building almost kind of sort of identical to this, because it was built by you know, Raffles, which is a Singaporean luxury hotel company. It is so insanely hot. I need to go stand in the shade because I want to see if anybody gets it. I filmed it in one of my videos recently. I walked on top of it. Can anybody guess? It's in China, but which city? Yep, okay, I see. Yep, yeah. You guys got it. Good job. Good job to Shady. Good job to Hang. Good job to Daniel. It is Chongqing. It is Chongqing, China. It is the Raffles building. And as far as I know, is Marina Bay Sands and Raffles connected? Because in a way, is that not kind of shady? That like Raffles, which has a hotel here, which is like a really famous Singaporean luxury hotel, that they would build a structure that looks very similar to Marina Bay Sands in Chongqing. Or maybe if they're the same company, then that makes sense. But I thought they were different companies, so that's a little odd if you ask me. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna flip here. Look at these lovely flowers and the beautiful Marina Bay Sands. Gorgeous. That right there is the Art Science Museum. I went there a couple of days ago. Super cool science, technology, art museum. They have like changing exhibits all the time. I was kind of in the lower part of it. I went to the Future World exhibition, but there's also one on Frida Kahlo going on, and also another one called Goddess. So really interesting museum. A bit expensive, of course. If you want tickets to all three exhibitions, it was 71 Singaporean dollars, which is like 55 US. That's a lot, in my opinion. So I just went to the one and paid 30, but yeah, So take a look at this beautiful vista, friends, because we are actually going to be going the other way. The last live stream that I did, we went all up beside Marina Bay Sands, so watch that former live stream if you want to see that. We're actually going to head this way towards the theaters and also Merlion Park, because that part I didn't show in my last live stream, so I thought I would do it this time. But for anybody watching who maybe doesn't know a lot about Singapore, I definitely, let me just get across here. I just wanted to quickly tell you that Marina Bay Sands being, the most famous building here, they do have a observation deck that you can go up to, because staying at the hotel costs like $1,000 plus a night. So that's a bit much for most people. The observation deck you can go up to for about 30, so it's reasonable because it is a really, really nice view. And then behind the hotel is the really famous Gardens by the Bay area. So that's where you have those trees that like change colors, and there's a light show every night at 7:45 and 8:45. So definitely consider checking that out when you come. That's the really cool, famous Helix Bridge. So yeah, a lot to see and do just in Marina Bay Sands area. Can you guys see the famous creature that is the sort of emblem of Singapore right in front of us? It's a mythical creature, obviously. There is not a fish lion that exists in real life, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm getting this wrong. I just briefly looked this up before I started the live stream. So it's a lion and a fish, because this area that is now Singapore but used to be a part of Malaysia, it used to be a fishing village. So that's where the fish part comes out of. And then the lion head is from the original name of Singapore, which I think is Singapura it was called. And in Sanskrit, it means lion, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how they get this creature, which they have put in this really famous area called Merlion Park. Obviously very popular with tourists to get some beautiful pictures. Oh, he's trying to get the famous picture where it like goes into your mouth. So yeah. Amazing. Really, really beautiful. I need to find some shade, guys, if possible. Even though it's an overcast day, it's like already by 10 a.m. you're just feeling the heat just completely absorb into you. Oh my gosh, it is busy today. I was here a couple of days ago and it wasn't this busy. I don't know if they had some big tour groups come in or what. It's a bit crazy right now. Nobody downtown, everybody's here. Yeah, Jesse says it's so crowded already. It's gonna be a busy, busy day downtown. This is a nice view. Really, really like this. Overall, I would say that Singapore is one of the best cities in the world to go jogging in. Like this whole bay area, like uninterrupted, sidewalk areas, other than the crowds being here. It'd be better to come in the morning, but I absolutely love cities that have like good uninterrupted running areas. I absolutely hate running in traffic. of any kind. So this is one of the best running cities other than the extreme heat that you are dealing with. That's why it pays to be like a morning person and get up at like 5-6 a.m. while most people are still sleeping. I'm gonna try and get ahead here. We've got the beautiful theaters by the bay here. These are also really unique buildings where they have lots of different performances, primarily orchestra performances if I'm not mistaken, but I think they have other kinds of shows as well. Pretty sure some of them are free too, like a few times a month I think they put on some free concerts for the whole community, which is super, super cool. Nice way to like give back and give everybody access to the arts. Or yes, called the Esplanade. I guess that would be the proper term for it. They're doing a whole bunch of construction on this area before. I remember that there was some kind of bleachers when I was last here, because there was kind of like racetrack or something that they had. Maybe somebody can let me know in the comments, what are they doing with it now? Because it looks like a huge, huge thing that they're building over there. Just reading your comments here, guys. Yes, the Esplanade does look like a durian, which is not my favorite fruit, I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of durian, but it's fitting for Southeast Asia. I haven't mentioned yet, single tear down my face. You guys, this is like my last 2 days in Singapore, meaning my last 2 days in Southeast Asia. It's bittersweet. Like, it's bittersweet because in a way, like, you know, I've been traveling for 7 months. It's been incredible. I've seen so much. And I am honestly ready to go back to Canada because I really miss my family. I miss my friends. I miss not okay, I was about to say something kind of mean, but I'm gonna choose my words well. But I don't want like anything new for a while, if that makes sense. Because sometimes when you travel, it's like, you know, it's first world problems of just like, it's too much. It's an overload of constantly new things and, you know, exciting things. Sometimes a person does want just dullness. Like, I just want to chill. I don't want to have anything crazy going on. I want the same environment to kind of, you know, ground myself in for a while. So I've really been missing that, you know, the past couple of months. So it'll be really good to go back to Calgary and stay with my mom and stuff. But at the same time, I know I will miss Southeast Asia and a lot of things about it as a whole. When I leave, because I don't know when I'm gonna be back. You know, I have some other parts of the world that I'm gonna be exploring next, and unless I have, I don't know, a specific kind of work project come up, like, I probably won't be back to Southeast Asia for a while, because I've basically spent the last 2 years here. You know, I spent most of last year in Southeast Asia, and I've spent half of this year in Southeast Asia, or I mean the last 2 years basically. So it will just be sad to not be in this part of the world for a while, because it is really, really great The only thing that I know for sure I won't miss that much is the heat and humidity. Like, that has also been getting to me, like, you know, day in and day out, just soaked every day. I have to like get fresh clothes because I would not wear, you know, the clothes a second day in a row, and makeup melting down my face, and getting lightheaded from walking around for more than a couple hours. Like, that I won't miss. That is one thing that I wish was different about Southeast Asia, but you know, every place has its pros and cons, so it is what it is. So I just want to give you guys one more view here of the beautiful Marina Bay. Aw, gonna read this comment from Carolyn. Definitely can relate. I can relate about the sadness you feel. I just finished my 2-year trip being a digital nomad. It ended in Bangkok and cried when the plane left. Now back in my home country, spending time with family. I'm sorry to hear that, and yeah, it's always difficult to end these like big epic journeys, especially, I don't know if it's in your case that you don't know when the next one will be, or you're just gonna miss that particular place, but it's always bittersweet because yeah, of course, you know, we love traveling, but at the same time I would think most people also miss their home country in a way, and most digital nomads have family and friends that they kind of have to leave behind and don't see as often, so those parts are definitely really hard about travel. And just to be clear, like I as much as I harp on it negatively sometimes, like I also think Canada is an incredible country, and I am like super grateful. Like, I would not be where I am now. I would not have the opportunities that I have now if I wasn't for Canada. And even as like a tourist destination, I think Canada is superb. Like, there are so many beautiful things to see and do. And to be honest, other than not having hawker centers, Singapore and Canada are kind of on the same price range, to be honest. Like, it's quite similar. Of course, if you go to the smaller kind of cities, you can get cheaper accommodation than you would here in Singapore, so that's nice. But for, you know, the big cities like Vancouver and Toronto, yeah, the prices for accommodation are basically the same as here. So it's expensive, but Canada does have a lot of natural beauty. It's a very big country. There are very many things to see. So please don't get the wrong idea that I'm just like negative Canada, because like I love it, but I just don't like some of the changes that have happened in the last, especially 5 years, but you know, 10 years, honestly. It kind of started to get worse and worse. So I hope things will turn around. All right, so here we are at the Esplanade. Let's stand in the shade so I can get a little bit of respite from the sun. As you can see, here is, I think, some of the different shows or something that they have going on. They have like different workshops, some kind of circus. Oh, that'd be fun. It'd be fun to take a circus workshop, wouldn't it? Aerial open stage. That looks like fun. Oh, thank you so much to my lovely Japanese friend Katsu. Thank you so much. Greetings from Tokyo. Be careful, sunburn. I agree. No, I'm covered in sunscreen, so at least I have that, and I have my linen shirt to kind of also help protect my skin. But yeah, it's hot, guys. I'm sweltering underneath this. I need to like take breaks every little bit. The good thing is that closer to Orchard Road, there is some other malls on the way, so they have super strong air conditioning, so I'll try and like pop into there and take a little break, because yeah, it's toasty today. Oh, But before I do, thank you so much for the super chat, Stan. So nice to see you here again. Thank you. Hello, Alina, and the location looks great. Singapore is a world away from most, like your title suggests. Glad you have sunscreen on. Stay hydrated. Thank you so much, Stan. That is very kind of you. Thank you for coming out. And yeah, oh, it is hot today. Like, I'm not gonna look good probably by the end of this stream, guys. Like, the makeup's gonna be melting down my face, but you know, I wanted to put in some effort. I don't want to just like show up and just be a mess from the get-go. Wanted to look nice and put together for you guys. Oh, I'm very happy to hear that from the hub man. You've sold me. Singapore is now on the list. I'm very happy to hear that. You will not regret this choice. But also for context, like obviously Singapore has its problems too, and I'm not the best person to speak on it because I don't actually live here. So of course, from my limited perspective, everything just looks substantially better than most places I visit, so that's why I'm so positive about it. But I'm sure, you know, Singapore has its problems as well, but I feel like locals would be better to speak on that. The only thing that I can say for sure that's an issue is affordability, because you know, the average person living here does not make like $10,000 plus a month, which from what I read, like if you're immigrating here and you're not really going to have access to public housing, and also you're not going to become a Singaporean citizen, like that's very rare to happen. If you're coming here as an immigrant, and like you better have a good job that's sponsoring you, like to live comfortably in the more downtown part of the city, like easily you need to be making like 10 to 15 grand, like minimum, like 10 if you're by yourself is probably like fine. But if you have a family, like you better be bringing in like 15 grand a month, like to live a comfortable lifestyle. Of course, you could do it for way less on a budget, but with the options that are available to people who aren't Singaporean citizens, it's extremely expensive. So it's a little, it's a lot out of my price range, you know, for now, but maybe someday. I just appreciate the opportunity to visit, so, you know, it is what it is. Did I missed another super chat, yes. Thank you so much to the Geo Scholar. I want to see Canada at least once. Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary, Vegreville. Where's Vegreville? As a Canadian, I don't know where that is. Newfoundland. I want to see the giant Pisangi. Oh, that's where Vegreville is. At least once. There's a really big one in somewhere in Saskatchewan that I've been to. Is that Vegreville? Because like Saskatchewan is like the Ukrainian province. That'd be interesting if that's the one you're talking about. The shores of BC, the Rockies, Quebec, etc. Oh, for sure. Like there is so much beauty in Canada, and it is just such a vast country. Like that's the thing. Even as somebody who's lived there for most of my life, I've thankfully seen quite a bit, but there's still so much to see. Like it's just such a big undertaking to try and see it all, but I hope that you are able to make that trip and see all the things that you want to see. Vegreville is in Alberta. A big giant Pisanki in Alberta. Can't say I know where that is, sadly, but there's a really big one somewhere in Saskatchewan. So yeah. Iceva says, I wear Thin Lizzy makeup concealer, so when the makeup stays on by the heat, I need to know the brand you are using. I have Vertiligo. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Well, like I said, my makeup does tend to go down my face, but I find the best ones that I've used is Shape Tape concealer from Tarte, and also I use True Match foundation, but I don't think that's very good for the heat. It's just the Shape Tape that helps it stay on, probably. How does everybody know where this giant pisang, the egg thing, is in Canada, and I don't. I should know where this is. I'm Ukrainian, but I don't. Okay, guys, I've cooled down a little bit. Let's head on to our journey because it's already been an hour. And gosh, am I still like probably 40 minutes away from where I want to get to. So we got to get a move on. But yeah, this area is super, super beautiful. The last time I was in here, there was actually some young kids that were putting on a little performance right in the main hall, and it really reminded me of my band days back in high school. If you've been with me on my channel for a very long time and have watched all my videos, you might have heard me talk about it, but I was like a huge band nerd. I played the oboe, and I actually liked it so much and did it fairly well. Like, I competed in a lot of competitions, and I also like toured with the senior orchestra, which like was much older than me because they didn't have an oboe player. And I actually thought that that's what I was going to do, guys. Like, I actually thought that my, you know, big person job was going to be a professional oboe player. Things didn't quite turn out like that. I haven't sadly picked up the oboe in a very long time, but I still have it, so maybe I will actually you know, do it for fun in the future. So I think I should have service, but if it goes out, just so you guys know, like, don't worry, I'll come back on. But to cross the street here, I have to go underneath. So hopefully the signal will stay strong. And I hope they have air conditioning down here. That would be nice. Just reading your comments here, guys. Jamie asks me, do you ever think about going skydiving, Alina? I have. I did it in Australia when I was 18. It was overall really, really cool. I would do it again if it was in a truly like incredible place and I knew I was going with as safe as a you know, company as you could get. I would do it again, but I would never bungee jump again. I didn't even do that intensive a bungee, but no reason that I would ever bungee again. That is not safe nor necessary for me in my lifetime. Check this out, guys. We got crosswalk picnics, which is great. Because yeah, I mean, it is insanely hot, right, outside. So some people just like chill down here, which I think is really great and fun. The one thing that somebody did tell me is that usually a lot of people who do this are usually actually migrant workers, like a lot of like Filipino women that come here to be like domestic helpers. A lot of time it's actually them that come down here during their breaks and stuff. So nice that they're having some fun time as well, because they work very, very hard. Like there, okay, I guess that's one of the negatives, but I mean, it's a negative not just in Singapore, but all over the world. Like, migrant workers usually do get, you know, the short end of the stick on things, that, you know, they don't make a lot of money here in Singapore, considering how expensive it is. Like, I would hope that for most of them that their accommodation and food is covered, so then they can pocket, you know, the usual, I think, 1,000 Singaporean dollar salary that they get. Because yeah, if you had to live here and rent here for $1,000, like, I don't even think that's possible. I don't even think that's possible to live here on that small amount of money. So yeah, you know, for those people who live and work in Singapore, you know, life for them here is extremely difficult and not at all luxurious as some of the white collar workers that come here and are getting paid, you know, 10 grand plus a month. So that is a different factor to bring in. So we're gonna make our way through the park here. There's a important monument, which I'm not going to try and describe too much because I am not a history buff, but what it says in front here is memorial to the civilian victims of the Japanese occupation 1942 to 1945. So obviously during the Second World War. If somebody wants to go more in depth on what that looked like for Singapore, what went on, please let us know in the comments. I will not attempt that explanation since I know I am not well versed enough to do that. Thank you very much to Alex Oliveira for some ice cream or whatever you want. Thank you so much. That is very kind of you. I think I will definitely need some kind of cold drink after my live stream is done. I'll probably get something in one of the malls on Orchard Row, because I think somebody mentioned in the comments that it might rain this afternoon. So that's a negative that I will have to be aware of. Hopefully it's after this live stream is done. It's hard to read your comments here. Oh, a rare siren, you know. We don't really get a lot of sirens here in Singapore. It's probably an ambulance, which is sad. Yeah, it is an ambulance. Hopefully they're all right. Okay. Here we are. We are going to go this way. We've got the Raffles City Mall here. And then the actual Raffles Hotel over here. Raffles is beautiful. Like, Raffles is also, you know, such a luxurious hotel. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the very generous super chat. George, thank you so much. Thanks for showing us downtown Singapore, Alina. You're coming back to Canada just in time for the Stanley Cup final, and my Edmonton Oilers are just one win away. Question, are you following hockey at all from Singapore? Well, first of all, George, thank you so much for the support. Greatly appreciated. And I'm wishing your team a very good luck. I'll wish for them more than anybody, because no, sadly, I do not follow hockey that much. I don't follow really any sports. While I can appreciate it, like I definitely appreciate how difficult athletes have to work, you know, to be good at what they do, but personally it's not my thing. So I have no idea who's like winning and who's losing. I just know that the Toronto Maple Leafs aren't impressive, right? They don't play very well. I think that's really the only thing I know about hockey. But thank you very much, George. And Rahul, thank you so much. That is very sweet of you. Thank you for coming out as always, and thank you for the super cute super sticker. I hope you are doing well. Thank you so much. You guys are so kind. It's just so hard to read your comments here in this heat and sun. Let me see. We got Sunny from Guelph, Ontario. Hello, Sunny. Geo Scholar says, speaking of Raffles, there's a school named after Raffles. Well, yeah, isn't Raffles, he was like a super important person in Singapore history. So that's why not only there's the hotel, but there's lots of things named after him, right? Maybe somebody can comment the full story in the comments. Jamie says you should try pro wrestling, Alina. I assume you mean watching pro wrestling, right? I'm not going to be jumping in the ring anytime soon. Yeah, I guess that would be exciting. Yes, I am melting, Warren. Geo Scholar, I have to go. Thank you for streaming in Singapore. Dyakuyu. Dyakuyu. Thank you very much. Very sweet of you. Thank you for coming out. I'm going to answer this comment as I keep walking. Sen Ken Sen, if I'm saying it right, sorry in advance. I think Singapore is too small of a country, so aren't there people bored with their country? That's a fair question. Because it is, you know, small. Like, I would say that Singapore, having a population about 5-6 million people, while it does have so much to do, like if it was just a standalone city, I would say, yeah, like, my gosh, there's so many, you know, different districts. There's lots of natural areas. There are some islands you can visit. There are even beaches. Like, I was going to go to Sentosa Island on this trip, but I unfortunately had some stuff happen that kind of derailed those plans. So I'm going to have to leave that for another time. By the way, Fairmont, shout out. So yeah, there's a lot to see and do here as a city. But no, like, if you constitute it as like, okay, this is a country and everything that's here, that's it. No, like, obviously, you know, you're probably gonna run out of things after a couple of years of living here. But I mean, that can be said by a whole bunch of tiny countries all over the world, like Europe more than anything, right? Like, there's some countries in Europe that I think only have a couple million people as their population. So Singapore is kind of on that level, and also, you know, to be honest, it's way more advanced than a lot of European countries. So it depends how you want to look at it. And then the other factor is that at least with Singapore, you're also, you know, in the heart of Southeast Asia, right? Like, you can just catch a flight to so many different places, like, not just, you know, okay, you go to Thailand, but how many places does Thailand have to see, right? Like, you could spend years and years just exploring Thailand, which is like a couple hours flight. I don't know how many hours it is, but it's close. Or like Malaysia right next door, you could just pop on over there. And because you have a Singaporean passport, you literally, you know, have one of the strongest passports in the world. You can basically go so many places without the hassle that unfortunately most other residents. I need to run again, guys. The freaking light changed. 1 second. I just don't want to stand in the heat for like 3 minutes while I'm waiting for the light to change. So yeah, like, obviously if you have a Cambodian passport, right, like, it's going to be way harder for you, and obviously with the currency conversion, unless you're very, very wealthy, to be able to see the rest of Southeast Asia, let alone the world. But with the Singaporean who's making, let's say, above average money and is able to put a lot of it away and is able to treat themselves to, you know, trips every month or so, yeah, like, you can easily pop down to so many places, an hour flight away or even a ferry ride away sometimes. The currency is way in your favor, you know, and you can just live your best life. So in that respect, I don't think it's that boring living in Singapore, as long as you have the means to be able to travel. Because of course, if you're living just above the poverty line here, like, no, you won't be able to afford to really take those kinds of trips. And then you would kind of be confined to just the country. But I mean, that's the reality everywhere else in the world. Lots of people can't afford to leave their own countries because it's too expensive and they're barely getting by where they are. So, you know, while Singapore does have its problems for sure, it's still a very, very privileged country. Like, at least they get to constantly live in an environment that's fairly safe, clean, organized, and that, you know, just works. Not many places can say that. So, just saying. Somebody commented, one day in Singapore could support my 1 week living in Krabi. Exactly, yeah. That's literally my budget too. Like, I'm staying at a hostel, obviously, because I was not willing to spend, you know, 150 minimum per night for a hotel. So I'm spending about 40 for a hostel room. And to be honest, like, it hasn't been terrible. Of course, I would not love to do it for more than a week. But at the same time, I don't want to spend that crazy amount of money. So I'm spending maybe 20 to 30% above what I usually would spend in Southeast Asia, because I am, you know, fairly budget conscious here. But if I was going out and doing the same kind of lifestyle that I did in like Thailand or, you know, Bali or whatever, like, oh God, per day, that would probably come to, I don't even know, $600 easily. Eating out the way I do in the rest of Southeast Asia and getting like a mid-range hotel, getting grabs, you know, once or twice a day, easily like $600, $700 a day. It would be wild. So I cannot support that at this point in time. So I did the financially responsible thing and was like, you know, make it work in a hostel for a week, because spending about $40 a night is around what I spend on accommodation in the other countries. So that factor hasn't changed, and I usually eat out most of my meals at hawker centers. Once in a while, you know, I'll go to the fancier places. And oh God, the other day, I posted it on Instagram. The other day, I spent $40 Singaporean dollars, which, okay, is about 30 US, for avocado toast, cappuccino, tax, and a service charge that's automatically included. Not happy about that. I'm not happy about that. So once in a while, like, okay, you know, treat yourself, but I do not want to spend $40 per meal for like 10 days straight. That would be insanity with how much money I'm making right now. Like, that would be just stupid to do. So I'm at least grateful that here in Singapore, you can get really good food at the hawker centers and stuff. And, you know, that's one thing that I wish we had in like Canada, and I don't think the States has it either, that you can nowadays get a good meal for under $10. Like, there's basically nowhere to get something like that, whereas here in Singapore, you can find incredible food from all over the world for under $10, and it's so good. So love that for the people here. So this is getting into a different area of the city. Looks a little different than the more financial district over there. Like, this is also still downtown, but it has just a different feel to it. Lovely family park. And then what you'll see coming up here is actually some schools and like university type of places. This one says School of Computing and Information Systems. And then there's an art college on this side of the street coming up as well. Just reading your comments. Singapore is the Switzerland of Asia. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Callie Masters asks, have you gotten sick so far on this trip in Asia anywhere? Yes, I have. Oh, well, I don't know. It's because it's been 7 months. It's been so long. It's hard to remember all the times that I have been sick, but I actually did get sick quite a bit, more than my first trip to Southeast Asia the year before. It all started in Vietnam. Like, both me and my dad got really sick, almost with like flu symptoms. He had a bad cough and just was very tired and weak and stuff. And I had the worst nasal congestion I had ever had. And it was just giving me migraines. I couldn't breathe. Like, that's when I did that Ha Jiang loop on the motorcycle. It was horrible. It was a horrible few days. I felt like such crap and thought I had to give up, but you're like in the middle of nowhere. So that was really hard. And I kind of couldn't shake that flu for quite a while. It kind of just kept coming back. So I don't know what that was. And then I don't know if the next one was when I was in China. In China, I ended up getting a really bad stomach bug. And then in Bali, a whole bunch of things bit me. Either a snake or a spider frickin' bit me. And I thought I was having some weird reactions to that. And yeah, I've gotten what I felt like was sunstroke quite a few times. I've also just gotten exhausted and like felt like crap a lot of times. But you know, we're still hanging in there. It's not the worst, but yeah, this trip I actually did get sick quite a bit. Thankfully nothing, I don't think, life-threatening, but had some really rough times on this trip. It has not been easy going. Flip here. Jamie asks, have you been to Bora Bora before? No, I have not, but I hear it is beautiful. As long as you have the money to stay at a nice resort. I don't really know much more about it other than it's beautiful beach kind of life. Callie asks, have you ever been to a hospital during a trip? Oh, I have on other trips. Thankfully not on this trip, but yeah, I mean, when I was in India, I had to go to the hospital, and then when I was in Japan, I ended up getting a whole host of things. Well, this was a long time ago, but I had a kidney infection, I had pneumonia, I had some other crazy ass thing, and I'm pretty sure it all came about because I had this one stupid job that made me literally go out in like shorts and a t-shirt in the winter to film their like spring summer campaign, and I got like deathly ill after that. It took me out of work for a whole month. So super unethical, like super unethical when they make models do that kind of stuff. But yeah, thankfully here in Southeast Asia, it has been just uncomfortable kind of stuff that I'm like, well, what are they going to do for me? You know, like I'm going to go to the hospital with the flu and they're going to say, drink more fluids and get some rest. Like, it's not really, doesn't really make sense to go unless it's like a really high fever or something. Stand here in the shade as I wait. Just in front of me is that really lovely art college that I was talking about. I can't see the name from here. I'll see it once we pass. But yeah, if you come here during the school days, there's a whole bunch of young people hanging out here. Super, super cool. Alex asks, any plans to visit South Korea in the future? Absolutely, I would love to. Like, obviously South, not North. Korea is part of the world that I've definitely wanted to see for quite some time. But it too is expensive, right? Like, it's a more expensive destination, especially Seoul. So, you know, I will get there eventually. But I'll be honest, it's not probably going to happen anytime soon unless, I don't know, some really important opportunity comes up or like some company sponsors it or something, because I have done, you know, the Asian continent quite extensively over the last couple of years. So I think I will be heading to some new areas in the coming time. Yes, Jesse, School of the Arts, SOTA. That's what it is. And it's a higher education place, right? It's like, it's not high school kids or something. It's a proper college or university or something. It's very, very beautiful. Actually, Jesse, if you happen to know, Jesse is a Singaporean, by the way, for anybody reading her comments in the chat. Jesse, do you know how much, like, I know it'll depend on the major that you take and the school that you go to, but is there like an average ballpark figure that somebody would pay per year for like higher education? Just so everybody kind of has an idea of what it might cost. Thank you very much, Rick Smith, for sponsoring my next trip. Much appreciated. My PayPal is in the description. Thank you. Ziggy, you're coming back to Canada, planning on visiting Vancouver Island. I was in Vancouver Island 2.5 years ago and have a couple videos from there. So probably not going there anytime soon, but you can check out my prior content from there. Had a lovely time. So Jesse says, for me, I took a 1-year degree that cost about $23,000. Yeah, I mean, I guess that sounds like a lot of money, but I guess if you were able to get a whole degree in a year, that's actually pretty cool that you were able to do that. Very impressive. And second question on secondary education. Is that with any kind of like government subsidy, or does that sort of thing exist? Like, let's say for people from, you know, a lower income household, does the government subsidize their education at all? Please let me know if you do know. Oh, I think you already answered that. I'm just seeing it now. On average for a local university will be about $10,000 for a year. Okay, that's, I think, obviously I never went to university, but from what I've heard, $10,000 a year would be around the average of what education at a university or like really nice technical college would cost in Canada as well. And that's obviously without housing, without all those extra sorts of things. So actually, yeah, about the same prices in Canada for like government universities. Interesting. In Canada, we also have like private universities or colleges. I technically went to one. This is my only like higher education. I went to Toronto Film School for 1 semester before realizing it was like a crack of SHIT, that they were charging an insane amount of money for like the education that they were giving you. So I like dropped out. I didn't want to spend any more of my dad's money on that, and I just went to like private, not like private me, but like private acting coaches, because that's what I was studying. I was studying, you know, acting and film and all that kind of stuff in Toronto, and it was a much better value to do that than anything you could have learned at Toronto Film School. So thumbs down for their private university in both Toronto and Canada. It's a crazy amount of money. They want like $40,000 or something for like I think it's a year and a half or something. Yeah, a 2-year program max, like super expensive. And obviously with the degree means nothing. Like you're really only using it for the skills. Like you're there to learn the actual skills of filmmaking, but those skills you can learn so many better ways for a lot less money. So at least in Canada, I would be very wary of any sort of private universities. I haven't heard anything good about any of them. Like if you're gonna go to university in Canada, and I think we do have some nice universities, like go to the proper ones, like go to U of T or like McMaster, or even University of Saskatoon is like a really good university, and you know, those for Canadians are government subsidized. So yeah, I don't really believe in the private universities that cost like insane amounts of money. We're gonna pop into the mall here, guys. I need a little break. Oh, we got Eduardo from Curitiba, Brazil. That's cool. All right. Oh, I can imagine that air conditioning already. I'm so excited. Quick thing to point out, look at their super cool public transit buses that they have here. What awesome double-decker contraptions, and they are like super on time and convenient. I've also taken the bus a couple of times in Singapore, like always on time, super clean, and I think it's just one fee no matter where you go in the city for MRT or buses. At least that seemed to be the case when I've taken it. I think it's like $2, right? It's like two or 280 or something Singaporean dollars, which is under $2 US, for wherever you want to go in the city. Even coming from the airport, see, now that I know how you should do it, absolutely, just take the MRT from the airport. Will take you straight to downtown, anywhere else in the city you need to go, for $2. Way better than trying to get a Grab or taxi, unless you're just like bougie like that. Fucking hell. Oh, you don't know what a difference it is until you get in here. Oh, just give me a sec, guys. I'm gonna flip the camera. You can watch the people as I take a little breather here. I'm actually trying to think, is there any way I can get a drink and continue this live stream? Because I don't know if you guys are aware, but I have my hand on a gimbal and I can't set the gimbal down because it will fall and go crazy, and I need more than one hand to like open a bottle, right? So I guess I could get something that flips. What's in a can that I could maybe open, because a bottle will be really hard for me to open unless I'm like sitting down and holding the gimbal between my legs or something. Don't really want beer, Red Bull. That's the only thing I see in it. Oh no, I do see, I think I see soda water. I could do a soda water. One sec, guys. We're gonna do it because I am thirsty. Soda water. Sorry. Oh. This is soda, right? Yes. Perfect. Check. Thank you. Success. Success. Now I do need a surface to like crack it on. Let me show you the mall as we walk around. This is a nice mall. There's a Sephora. And you know what? Nobody other than ladies, or I mean some gentlemen who like makeup, will care. But you know what's interesting? So Sephora is super expensive, like 20 to 30% more expensive than Canada in the rest of Southeast Asia. I don't know why. Like if you go to it in, well, even Kuala Lumpur or something like that, it's so expensive. But here in Singapore, it's basically the same price for most things as it is in Canada. And I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, who in those other countries is like shopping at Sephora? Like, I wouldn't shop at Sephora in those countries. Like, it's so insanely expensive. Like, Sephora is already expensive, but in those countries, it's even worse. Okay, let's see if I can open this. Oh God. I think I got it. Oh my God, this is so hard. Yeah, I needed 2 hands for that. Why is my gimbal weird? What is going on? 1 second. Okay. All right. Cheers. Thank you to everybody for the super chats you have paid for my refreshing soda. Thank you. Oh my God. That is so good. Even though there's air conditioning in here, like I'm still just like sweating down my back. Hold on, I need to put my credit card away so I don't lose it. Okay. All right, guys, just a couple more minutes. Maybe I can, I don't know, show you around this lower part of the mall briefly as I drink my drink, and then we can head out. I'm the thirsty queen. You guys are very kind. I don't know what it is. I feel weird asking people for help. Like, I know if somebody asked me, I would have no problem doing it, obviously, like opening somebody's drink, but I feel awkward. I don't know. That's like a personal social anxiety thing that unless, like, I don't know, I really needed help, I usually don't ask for help. Unless it's like, you know, where to go. I'll definitely ask, you know, people for suggestions, or like, you know, if I don't know how to get somewhere, I'll definitely ask that. But I rarely ask for help with other things. I don't know why. I probably should work on that. Rick asks, almost everyone there speaks English. Yes, everybody speaks English here in Singapore. I was kind of talking about this in the start of my video, but just to give a little refresher. So the official language of Singapore is Malay, but then there are other official languages kind of underneath that, which is Chinese, Tamil, from India, I guess, and then obviously English. And English is the most common language that everything happens in, because then all the speakers know that language, right? Like from all the three main groups of locals that make up Singaporean society, they all speak English and they can all understand each other, which I think is beautiful. I love that. So yeah, like school is in English. Everybody working at shops mainly speaks English, unless you know it's another, like, Chinese person or something like that, then obviously you could speak Mandarin to them. But yeah, and all the signs are in English. The other languages too, like some of the more like government signs, you will see Malay first and then the other languages as well. But if you're just like in a shopping mall or on the MRT or something like that, I think it's only in English signs, because everybody understands that. So it get a little bit crowded to like put the 4 languages on there. Singlish, yes, exactly. Singlish la. Yes, Alex, I speak both Russian and English because I was born in the Soviet Union. So yeah, I speak Russian, not Ukrainian. In a way, I'd like to learn some more Ukrainian. I probably will, but at the same time, even with the horrendous things that are like obviously happening in Ukraine, I don't understand why like language has to get so much involved in it. I feel like language should be free from politics, where why would you stop speaking a certain language even though you already know it, and it helps you communicate with a whole bunch of other nationalities. Like, as terrible as the Soviet Union was in many ways, I think it's great that there's a whole bunch of countries in that part of the world that like I can communicate with. As a Russian speaker, I can go to like Armenia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and I can communicate with, for sure, the older people there, because they all speak Russian. So to me, Russian is a very, very good language to know as well. I don't think they know Spanish here, Rick. And yes, my family is still in Ukraine to Cali Masters. No, they're not able to leave at this time, so it's very sad. Okay guys, it's been over an hour and a half. This is live stream. It's going a little bit longer than I initially planned, so let's keep on trucking. But I had a nice break with my soda, so thank you all for stopping with me there. Let's continue on. We actually don't have that much further to go to Orchard Road. I think it basically begins within the next 10 to 15 minutes, but obviously we'll walk down the actual street itself. So as long as my battery lasts, we probably got about 15 to 30 minutes ahead of us. And then that will be it. That will be my 2-hour live stream tour for you guys here in Singapore. By the way, not gonna complain too much, because I am absolutely living my best life here in Singapore, but I have the worst freaking blisters. They're thankfully not as bad now, but they were really bad the last couple of days, that I got from sneakers. Like that day that I did that crazy 5-hour hike that I was telling you guys about, I was such a mess after that day, not only with just dehydration, because I had only 1 bottle of water for the whole trek, but also it was a hard hike for 5 hours. It's also like up and down and everything. And the sneakers that I was wearing, I don't know what the hell happened, but they gave me horrible blisters. So I'm in sandals today, and it helps, but they're still there and I can still kind of sort of feel them. But yeah, I've been freaking sore as heck this whole week, because all the filming that I've been doing, like I love to walk. It's such a walkable city, but I'm also in pain. Like every single day, I walk basically 20,000 steps, like minimum, every single day. So won't be doing that quite as much when I get back to Canada. Ice Boss. It was Skechers. It was Skechers. That was exactly my thought, that I got new sneakers when I was in Bali and stuff. And I was like, oh, what's like a comfortable, you know, footwear brand that'll be good for just like walking around Singapore. Got a pair of Skechers. They gave me blisters. Very sad. That's a nice purple vehicle. So this is a lovely park. I think somebody just said the name in the comments. Istana Park. Yeah, Jesse said. Really lovely little park. Oh, is where the president's residence is. Oh, I was wondering, you know, what the big fancy gate is over here. Ah, well, I don't want to film it or get too close. They don't usually like that here, and most places you're not supposed to film like government buildings and whatnot. But yeah, that's cool to know. Very beautiful. I'm not sure what that is. Is that a hotel? Regency House? Looks very nice. Got the Singtel building. That overall is probably the best phone provider that you can use here in Singapore. That's what I'm currently using. Oh no. Oh, I don't want to run anymore with my soda. Please wait for me. Please wait for me. Thank you. Okay. I made it. Okay. All right, guys. Let's more or less call this the start of Orchard Road. It is beautiful. Very famous shopping district. And there is a whole history to this area that I will wait to tell you guys about until I see the actual plaque, because I don't want to mess it up. But yeah, this is a really lovely area, and I guess if you primarily wanted to shop while you were in Singapore, this could actually be the ideal district for you to stay in. But of course it is connected, you know, with the MRT, with the buses really, really well. You could go anywhere else in the city. $1 and more. Don't buy your souvenirs at Marina Bay Sands. They rip you off so bad. Just buy your magnets and your little keychains here. Or where was I? I was in Gardens by the Bay. They wanted $15 for a magnet. $15 for a magnet. Get out of town. Oh. Orchard Road. I mean, I don't know what the difference is. Like, that road past that intersection is called something else, and then this is called Orchard Road, even though, I mean, it's more or less the same road, but this is where it starts. Reading your comments here, guys. Oh, this is a big bus tour. I wonder how much that costs. I have a feeling that wouldn't really be worth it. Like, if it's $20 or $30 for the bus thing, as it is in most other, you know, countries, like, I don't know, in France or Germany. I mean, if you could just learn how to use public transport, you could get to any of the tour, you know, attraction places for $2 a pop. I don't really know if that big bus thing would be worth it in Singapore, unless you really just don't. Yeah, I guess maybe if you're older and aren't used to using technology of any sort, then maybe those buses would be better, because they for sure drop you off like at the place and you don't have to think about it. But I would think for anybody who knows how to use like Google Maps, like there's no reason for you to use those big bus tour things here in Singapore. Oh, thank you everybody actually for your footwear suggestions. Use Cole Haan shoes. I've heard of them actually. I might have to check those out. Somebody said New Balance. Thank you for the suggestions, guys. I will consider them, because I go through shoes like crazy. Like, I know they say, oh, you get like one really good pair of shoes and it'll last you like years. I very rarely had that be the case. Like if it's shoes that I'm traveling with, right? If it's shoes that I wear, you know, just once in a while, of course they can last years. But the kind of shoes that I travel with, and I travel with just 2 pairs of shoes usually, 1 pair of sandals, 1 pair of running shoes. I wear those things out like crazy. Like 6 months, they're done. Like no matter how good a quality they are, usually they're in tatters by the time I'm done with them. So I'm switching shoes quite often. I don't know if I really pointed it out, but this shopping mall is actually pretty cool looking. Very nice. If there's 0 dairy and 0 sugar in this ice cream, what is in it? What is in it? Tell me that, please. Let me see. There was, I think it's further on down here, there was kind of like a little turn-off thing that I remember seeing somewhere on here that had like a heritage plaque for this area, but I don't think I've gotten to it yet. I'm sad that Uniqlo will be so much more expensive in Canada. I love shopping at Uniqlo. Definitely if you're like a Westerner coming to Asia. I mean, some of the things will still probably not fit right, because it's, you know, it's built for people that are shorter and generally a lot skinnier. So if you kind of fit those 2 aspects, then I find Uniqlo is one of the easiest places to like buy clothes in Southeast Asia, because a lot of the other fashion stores, at least I'm just talking from like a female perspective, like it's insanely tiny. Like not only like being skinny wise, maybe the biggest size you will find is like a size 8 to 10, but also it's just so like short. It's so small. Like I can't wear any of the pants that they sell, and like almost all the shirts are like crop tops on me. Like, you know, I'm not even that tall. I'm almost like 5'7", but it's very difficult for me to find proper clothing in Southeast Asia, and I find Uniqlo on a whole is the best budget-friendly option that's like easy to go to. All right, here is the spot that I was hoping to find. It's a little tourist stop. I'm gonna go up this way in just a sec. So here we are, Orchard Heritage Trail, and this little area is called Emerald Hill. So this was the site of a former nutmeg orchard, established in 1837 by a postal clerk, William Cuppage. And then basically it just goes over like how it was acquired. This I learned about yesterday, the Pernakan Straits Chinese families that built up a lot of what is modern day Singapore. It's very interesting. It used to be home to a Singapore Chinese girls' school. They would get an education. And it became a conservation area in 1989. Interesting. So yeah, Olive Orchard Road has a lot of different heritage sites. A lot of the buildings, I think they have been restored, also including the Singapore Botanical Gardens, which I would highly recommend you guys visit. Oh, there is the presidential palace, as Jesse was saying, the Istana Park and Palace. Interesting. So yeah, if you wanted to find some of the really interesting heritage marks in this area, you can just go to the tourist center here and check them all out. But we will just go up a little ways on this hill to give you a view of the beautiful Pernakan Chinese houses, which are a very popular style in many different districts of the city. They're like very colorful and have these beautiful windows. Ice cold beer. I mean, I'm happy with my soda, but that would be nice too. So yeah, it kind of keeps going up to more residential homes as far as I remember the last time that I walked up here, but a bit more lively in the evening. Right now, a lot of things are closed, so just wanted to give you guys a view of these lovely heritage buildings. Great place for photos. And let's head on down to the main drag here. No Fly Arrow, this is not pre-recorded, this is live. We are live in Singapore right now. You guys want to know something else really interesting that I learned yesterday from my new Singaporean friends, that they were like telling me all about these things that I had no idea about? So there's for sure one casino in Singapore, maybe it's the only one, but the Marina Bay Sands, really famous casino that they have there. I can get in there no problem as a foreigner, but you have to bring your passport. They have to like check all your papers. But locals, Singaporeans, both citizens and PR holders, have to pay, Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, what was it, $150? They charge their own people $150 to go to the casino. And while that's kind of crazy, it's also kind of brilliant, because why are they doing that? They're doing that to deter their own people from gambling, because gambling ruins your life. Isn't that brilliant? I think that's brilliant. Like, I get that, you know, the government shouldn't control every aspect, you know, of citizens' lives, but at the same time, I think it's really good when they do put in certain kinds of, you know, precautions, or make it very inconvenient or expensive to do not so good things, right? And, you know, gambling, I would love to hear an argument of anybody who says that gambling is at all positive for society, and that it doesn't have the power to like absolutely bankrupt people and ruin their lives. Like, how many stories have we heard of people losing their whole life savings, you know, by going too far with gambling of many different kinds, and then they have nothing. And then what I hate most actually that they do in Canada is they absolutely target older people. You know, who do we see in casinos more than anybody else? Senior citizens. Like, what a terrible way to spend your retirement and then, you know, lose the little bit of money that you are like living on. I think that is so unethical. So I know $150 fee might not stop some people, but I still feel like it's a pretty good deterrent. Like, if you got $150 to blow just to get into the casino, and that's every time, right? Like, that's every time you want to go inside a casino, you got to pay $150 as a citizen. Like, that's a pretty good deterrent for people who I would hope don't have the money to be doing so. I think they wouldn't even bother trying, because usually it just starts by a little bit, right? Like, you put a little bit into the machine, you keep on going, you keep thinking you're going to get lucky, maybe you win a little bit, you do more, and it becomes a habit. Like in Canada, there's people who have gambling addictions that go to the casino every single day. Like, that's what they do, that's their social thing. And you know, there's better things that they could be doing, and it's so sad that like they're literally losing so much money by doing that kind of lifestyle. So I think that's great. I think that's a great strategy to like keep your own citizens, you know, healthy and happy, but are like, hey, tourists, if you want to lose, you know, some of your money, more than happy, like, come on in, give us your money. So I found that really, really interesting. All right, guys, let's keep on going here. Well, yeah, the people that have hit a jackpot have think their lives are great, sure, but that's what, 1 in thousands that play. Oh, I just got a notification, guys. I got 20% left on my camera, but I think that's actually okay. That should be enough to get us to Orchard Row. So, I mean, like the end of it. So we're actually doing good. Just probably have about 10 to 15 minutes left. Interesting to hear all of your thoughts on gambling. Glad that most of you agree it's not a good way to live your life. I told Jesse and Edwin, my Singaporean friends, I'm like, I can go to the casino for you and like take pictures and show you guys what it's like inside. But then I realized actually they usually really discourage any kind of filming or photo taking in casinos, right? I actually don't know why, but they do. So I probably couldn't film in there anyway. So it's a mystery of what it looks like inside. Got a big Victoria's Secret, got a big H&M, bunch of restaurants, shops. Oh, I went to that little coffee shop the last time I was here, really good. Alchemist Coffee, would recommend. This is a really good electronics store. I also went in here the other day and I was looking at the DJI stuff, because you guys know that's like my favorite brand for camera and drone equipment. So I was in there looking at what they had, because the camera I wanted was fully sold out in Bali. I ended up getting the other camera that I was gonna eventually get to just tide me over, but they did have the DJI Osmo Pocket, or the Pocket 3, for about the same price that they sell in Canada. So that was also a surprise. I was expecting it to be a bit more expensive than in Canada, but it wasn't. But I'm gonna wait until I get to Canada. Like, I don't need the camera right now, so I'll purchase it when I'm in Alberta, and it's only a 5% tax rate. 1 second, I'm gonna take a drink of my soda. All right, much more refreshed. I'm gonna throw out my can. Oh my God. Rick says there's a YouTuber who moved to Vegas from New York and said that he lost $300,000 last year. That is insane. That is mad. You know who else takes your money, and more of it more than they should? Apple. But I'm probably gonna give it to them because I need to upgrade my laptop this year, and I'll probably upgrade to the 15 Pro phone because, you know, it's my job, and they do have the best phones on the market in my opinion. But has anybody gotten the new MacBook Pros from them? Because I've been using PC for like the last 5 to 10 years, and it's been good. Like, obviously you get way more bang for your buck with PCs, but I want, you know, being able to connect my phone to my computer for photos easily, just, you know, for flow of work. I guess that's worth $1,000 or $2,000 when I'm using it literally like every single day basically. But let me know if anybody has purchased their new MacBook Pros, because I heard very good things about them. So that's going to be a super expensive day when I make those purchases. All right. Well, if anybody does use that computer, let me know. Send me a message of what your experience was. On that side of the road is one of my favorite shopping, what do you call them? I guess department store, Takashiyama. It's a really famous Japanese department store, and it's been so nice to see it outside of Japan, because for a long time, you know, it was just in Japan that you could get a lot of these great brands, and it's just a really beautiful shopping experience. But I first saw it in Bangkok, and I believe there's some other places in Southeast Asia other than Bangkok and Singapore that have it too, but it's a really lovely department store, so I would recommend checking that out. Oh, why am I literally like the light is just changing and forcing me to run every time? Why is that? Oh. We've got Paragon Mall department store over here. This area actually really reminds me of you know, Bangkok Sukhumvit. You know, it's very similar sort of vibes of like just a whole street of absolute luxury, high-end malls, really nice stores, like big pedestrian sidewalks, which is nice. So in a way, this really reminds me of Sukhumvit, which I miss. Singapore and Bangkok, my two favorite cities in Southeast Asia. One I can afford to live comfortably in, one I can't. Can you guess which is which? Also lots of really nice flowers here. All right, guys, we're probably gonna get to the end of my live stream in the next 5 minutes because my battery is also dying. So if you guys have any questions or anything else you'd like to say, please say it now, because this will probably be my last live stream for around a month, probably, because I'm going back to Canada and I still have one more video of Bali to put out, and then I'm going to have 3 videos from Singapore, and I'm going to release just like one a week. So basically for a month I won't probably do a live stream until I get those out. So this is going to be the last one for a while, and kind of, you know, my last walk and talk from Southeast Asia for quite a while. It has been a journey. It has been an incredible experience, and Southeast Asia on a whole is like 100% solidified as like one of my favorite areas of the world. Like, I know I will be back so many times, but probably just not, you know, for a while. Just because I don't want to overdo it. This isn't just a Southeast Asia travel channel, it's a worldwide travel channel. So unless something really important comes up that I have to come back here for, I probably won't be back for like a minimum of a couple of years or something like that. So it is bittersweet to be leaving, and for anybody who is watching, you know, who has especially like helped me as, you know, a friend and as a local, even just sending me suggestions, you know, about being here. Like, thank you so much for all of your help, all of your support. I felt incredibly welcome, and can't say enough good things about this part of the world and all of the people here. Like, I know you can't generalize, obviously every country is different in its own ways, but I think there is a common thread between a lot of the countries in Southeast Asia, and it's just wonderful. It really is wonderful. And even though I'm probably not gonna live here anytime soon, I would retire here. I think like Southeast Asia would be like my kind of place to retire, and so maybe I'll be back for a longer visit when I'm like 60 plus. So I hope you guys have enjoyed all of my videos from here. I hope they will be helpful to you in planning your trip. For anybody who doesn't know, I do have like my Google Map travel guides of both Bangkok and Bali. Those are my 2 from Southeast Asia. I may be adding on a mini one from Singapore. I haven't actually decided yet, so we'll see if I end up doing that, but definitely check those out on my website. If what the heck? Oh, I missed a really nice super chat from Jim Ross. Absolutely cannot miss that. Jim Ross, as always, thank you so much. Thanks for sparking the memories of Singapore that I haven't returned to in years. You can use this to get a cool juice or a tiger beer with lunch. Now lobbying for a Rocky Mountaineer trip or Jasper National Park, hitting a 300K soon. You and me both, Jim. I would absolutely love to take the Rocky Mountaineer and also visit Jasper. Jasper is probably the more likely option to happen this year around, but if the Rocky Mountaineer wants to sponsor me, that would be great, because that is an expensive trip. But thank you for all your support, Jim. Like, truly, I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much for showing up to all of these live streams and obviously supporting my channel. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Hope you are doing well. And same thing to Rahul. Thank you so much. Those are actually my 2 moderators on here, so everybody give them a round of applause, because I have given these 2 lovely gentlemen who come to my live stream so often. Thank you so much for that. Moderating powers to help with some of the trolling comments on here, so a big thank you to them for that. thank you so much, Rahul, for all of your support. It really does mean a lot. And yeah, to all of you guys who like come out all the time, I really do appreciate it. Like, these are just so fun to do. It's so fun to like virtually, you know, walk and talk and show you guys these really cool places, and I hope it you know, really inspires you to come check them out, especially Singapore. As perfect of a city as you can get, in my opinion. Absolutely love it. We'll definitely be back, and yeah, sending you guys so much love. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and keep being your own kind of beautiful. Bye guys.